And on the ground in Iraq, the country's biggest oil refinery, Beji, has been shut down and its foreign staff evacuated. Local staff remain in place, and the military claims it is now in control of the facility. The refinery in Beji sits less than 50 miles north of the city of Tikrit, which militants seized just last week. The Beji refinery accounts for a quarter of Iraq's entire refining capacity, and while it processes oil entirely for domestic consumption, like gasoline, cooking oil, and fuel for power stations, an outage there could lead to greater chaos in the country. The stakes for the oil markets are high as the Iraqi government tries to gain control over the situation. To talk about what the Iraqi crisis could mean for the global economy, earlier I spoke with Peter Schiff. He's the president of Euro Pacific Capital, Inc. I first asked him how Iraq's domestic economy would be impacted if the Beji refinery falls into the hands of militants.
Well, I'm really not that sure how it's going to impact Iraq. But, I think there's a situation there that unfortunately we helped create, which is one of the reasons among many that I was opposed to us going into Iraq in the first place, because I was afraid that once we went in there and withdrew, that something like this would happen. And now we're in a situation where we have no good policy options left.
Well, Iraq is the second largest oil producer in OPEC and has the fifth largest crude oil reserves. When you look at the global economy, how large of a role does Iraq play in the world's oil market?
Well, on the margin, it's a significant supplier, and I'm bullish on oil anyway. I think the price of oil is going up regardless of what happens in Iraq. But to the extent that Iraqi production is disrupted by civil war, that's only going to be more bullish for the price of oil, and it's going to affect the global economy in that oil is going to be more expensive, and that's going to be a negative unless, of course, you own oil and you've got it to sell. So there are some economies that might benefit, those that are supplying oil into the market, and others that have to buy oil are going to have to pay more for it, and that's like a tax.
Terrorist militants are now flying their black flag over Iraq's biggest oil refinery. Iraq now asking the U.S. for air support, but the president wants to wait.
Elizabeth Brand is live in Washington with the very latest. Good morning to you, Elizabeth.
Good morning. And we know President Obama met with congressional leaders this week, and while he said he doesn't need their permission to move forward, he will update lawmakers of any possible involvement. The administration says it's not ruling out anything at this point.
Anytime you say, as the president has on many occasions, that he's not ruling out and never does the use of military force in a circumstance like this, that's not ruling in or saying there is a certain use of military force.
This is military officials say the Iraqi government has requested air support in countering Sunni rebels, but it may not be as easy as it looks. The Pentagon's top leaders warn that there are heavy risks that come with launching a bombing campaign, especially since targets, for now, can be unclear. But in the meantime, there's an effort to gather more intelligence, so the U.S. is flying an F-18 surveillance mission. F-18s aren't really traditionally observation aircraft, so this could be more of a show of intimidation than anything else. But some on the Hill say the future is way too unpredictable, and they criticize the president and his handling of foreign policy.
One of the characteristics that a good money manager needs is an evaluation of management. You have to psychologically understand them and understand their strategy. My favorite companies are those that have bad balance sheets with absolutely crackerjack management. By my analysis, that's where you really make the money, especially when people don't believe them and they trade them down to pennies. You buy it when nobody else wants it, and then all of a sudden you have on your hands a stock which is up, can go up 100, 200, 500 times. Now, they're not easy to find, but the micro cap, the small cap area, that's where the real value is, in my opinion. And I see 250 to 300 CEOs a year that I visit with. You need a contrarian flavor to your thinking process. When everybody says it's bad, that's the time to look at them.